Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Walk with Ethan Hockey podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Black, and today we're going to talk about the games from over the week, from last night, Wednesday, as well as Tuesday, April 21st, from AHL's Stanley Cup, as well as the start of the AHL's Calder Cup. They started their playoffs on Tuesday as well. And then we'll go over the preview for the games from tonight all the way up to Tuesday, just to be safe. But yeah, so let's simply say that we'll just jump right into it as we're going to start off with the Tuesday, April 21st games for NHL. So this is the part 2 of the Stanley Cup update. So the first game was at 7 p.m. Eastern as Tampa Bay Lightning hosted the Montreal Canadiens, and they get the win on home ice with the score of 3-2 in overtime. JJ Moser getting the overtime win at 12 minutes and 48 seconds. And everybody might forget. So just a reminder, in playoffs, there's no shootouts. They just keep doing overtime until somebody wins. So speaking of JD Moser, he does get first star from Tampa Bay Lightning. Andrei Falansky is your second star also from Tampa Bay Lightning, and Jacob Dobes is your third star from Montreal Canadiens. Game number 2 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Buffalo Sabres again hosting the Boston Bruins, and Boston do get the win with a score of 4-2. Victor Anderson getting his second of the playoffs, 16 seconds into the third period. That was the game-winning goal. But Buffalo would come back with 2 goals in the third period. Bowen Brown getting his first of the season, 13:54 in the third period, and Payne Krebs getting his first of the playoffs in 15 minutes and 8 seconds into the thing. So Victor Anderson is your first star from Boston Bruins. Jeremy Swayman's second star, also from Boston Bruins, and also from the Boston Bruins for your third star is David Pastrnak. Game number 3, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Vegas Golden Knights again hosting the Utah Mammoth. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying it weirdly, and Utah does get the win with the score of 3-2. Logan Cooley getting his second of the season, 14 minutes into the third period. And speaking of Logan Cooley, here's your first star from Utah. Ivan Barbarashi is your second star from Vegas Golden Knights, and Dylan Gunther is your third star from the Utah Mammoth. So, and then our fourth and final game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Avalanche hosting the LA Kings again, and they win again with the exact same score of 2-1. Nicholas Roy, and that was an overtime, by the way. So Nicholas Roy getting the overtime win to take the series 2-0. Nicholas Roy is your first star from Colorado Avalanche. Scott Wedgwood is your second star from also Colorado Avalanche, and LA Kings for third star is Anton Forsberg. So Tampa Bay, Montreal, they are tied at 1 apiece. Same with Boston Bruins and Buffalo Sabres, as well as Utah and Vegas. All three of those games are tied after 2 games. But Colorado takes a 2-0 lead in the series. So that was the Tuesday games. And last night, April 22nd, only 3 games on tap here. Sorry, the site's just acting up there. So the first game at 7 p.m. Eastern, we had Philadelphia Flyers hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they get the win with a score of 5-2. Owen Tippett in his first of the playoffs in an empty net, 18:40 in the third period. So Sean Cordier is your first star from Philadelphia Flyers. Trevor Seagrass, your second star, also for the Philadelphia Flyers, and also for the Philadelphia Flyers, your third star is Ramis Ristolainen. I do apologize if I butchered that last name. So Philadelphia Flyers taking all 3 stars, and they take that series by 3-0. They could end they can actually do a clean sweep on Saturday, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Game number 2 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Wild hosted Dallas Stars, and Dallas do get the win with the score of 4-3 in the second overtime. Wyatt Johnson getting the game-winning goal, his third of the playoffs, 12 minutes into the second overtime via power play. I'll be honest, I get it. I'll be honest. Personally, me, I'm not a big fan of power plays into overtime. I think that's actually kind of stupid, but I get why they do it. I'm just not a big fan of penalties in overtime. So your first star is Wyatt Johnson from Dallas Stars. Matt Duchene is your second star, also from Dallas Stars, and your third star from Minnesota is Joe Eriksson Ek. And that series, by the way, Dallas is taking the series with the score of 2-1. So there will be a game 5. And speaking of game 5s, Anaheim Ducks ties up the series at 1 apiece, but they do defeat Edmonton Oilers on Edmonton's home ice with a score of 6-4. Ryan Poehling, his second of the season on empty net, 18 minutes, 50 seconds in the third period. Carter Cuccier is your first star for Anaheim Ducks. Alex Calhoun is your second star for Anaheim Ducks. And from Edmonton Oilers, your third is Jar Szymanski. And Edmonton Oilers Twitter page did confirm that they will have a game 5. So that series after game 2 games are tied at 1 apiece. And then we're going to preview the games from Thursday all the way up to Tuesday. And yet next week I should be recording either Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. So, just give me 1 second there. Computer's acting up a little bit there. All right, so we move on to the Thursday, April 23rd game. So tonight, actually, I'm recording. So at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Ottawa Senators hosting the Carolina Hurricanes. This is game 3 for them. The third game here as LA Kings are hosting the Colorado Avalanche. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern. And also, I forgot to mention, at 10 p.m. Eastern, Boston Bruins will host the Buffalo Sabres. This is their third game as well. And then on Friday, April 24th, we got 3 games on tap, and these are all game 3s of the first round. Montreal Canadiens hosting Tampa Bay Lightning. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern. At 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Utah Mammoth hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. And at 10 p.m. Eastern, Anaheim Ducks hosting the Edmonton Oilers. Then on Saturday, April 25th, at 3 p.m. Eastern, OSM is hosting Carolina Hurricanes. Again, that would be game number 4. At 7:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota hosting Dallas Stars for game number 4. And the fourth game between the Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Philadelphia again hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. And actually, Philly could close out the series if they win on Saturday, making a clean sweep. Then on Sunday, April 26th, we have 4 games on tap. At Boston Bruins hosting Buffalo Sabres. At 4:30 p.m. Eastern, LA Kings again hosting the Colorado Avalanche. At 7 p.m. Eastern, Montreal Canadiens hosting Tampa Bay Lightning. And at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Anaheim Ducks is hosting the Edmonton Oilers. And all 4 of these games are actually the 4th game of the series. Then Monday, April 27th. These games right now are still happening, but that might change. Well, game 4 will between Utah and Vegas. That's how, but depends how Philly, Pittsburgh go on Saturday. Same with Carolina, Ottawa. So as right now, I'm just gonna mention them, but we don't have the times yet. So Carolina Hurricanes is hosting Ottawa Senators. This is the Monday games, by the way. Pittsburgh hosting Philadelphia Flyers. Those 2 games are game number 5, and this is game 4 between Vegas and Utah, as Utah will host Vegas this time. And then on Tuesday, April 28th, games number 5. Buffalo will host Boston Bruins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Stars hosting Minnesota 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the 5th game for them. And then Edmonton Oilers hosting the Anaheim Ducks. That's game number 5 as well. That would be at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that is the AHL stuff. And now we're going to move on to the American Hockey League, where they kicked off their 2026 Calder Cup playoffs. So on Tuesday, April 21st, we only have 1 game on tap. It was, and by the way, the first round, by the way, are all best of 3 series. So Hershey Bears defeating Bridgeport Islanders with a score of 2-0. So Hershey Bears taking that series 1-0. So they could actually end that series. I think they play against Saturday. I got to relook at the schedule, which we'll go in a second, actually. And then last night's games, April 22nd, we have 5 games on tap here. So games 1 and 2 were both at 7 p.m. Eastern. As Charlotte Checkers defeating Springfield Thunderbirds with a score of 8-1. And the other 7 p.m. game number 2, Toronto Marlies defeating Rochester Americans with a score of 5-0. Game number 3, 8 p.m. Eastern, Amarillo defeating Manitoba Moose with a score of 4-1. Game number 4, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Eagles defeating San Diego Gulls with a score of 3-0. And the 5th and final game at 10 p.m. Eastern, Henderson Silver Knights defeating San Jose Barracuda with a score of 5-4 in overtime. And these are all game 1s by best of 3. So Charlotte, Toronto, Milwaukee, Colorado, and Henderson all take the series 1-0. So tonight's games, as we record, we only have 2 on tap. This is game number 2 between Bridgeport and Hershey Bears, as Bridgeport is fishing the Hershey Bears. And Hershey Bears can actually clean sweep here tonight. So, but if not, then if Bridgeport wins, then obviously we'll go to game 3. And then kicking off their best of 3 series here, Coachella Valley Firebirds visiting the Bakersfield Condors. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then tomorrow, Friday, April 24th, we have 6 games on tap as at 7 p.m. Eastern as Springfield Thunderbirds are visiting the Shard Checkers. That's game number 2 for them, and Shard could actually clean sweep there. We got actually a semifinal game from the North Division as this is game number 1 for them at 7 p.m. Eastern. Syracuse Crunch hosting Cleveland Monsters, and by the semifinals are best of 5 by the way for the division. I'll give predictions here. I'm gonna go with actually Cleveland taking the win, going all 5 games, so the series score will be 3-2. This game number 2 at 7 still in the first round between Toronto Marlies and Rochester Americans. This is Toronto is in Rochester at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. At 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Milwaukee Admirals visiting Manitoba Moose, and Milwaukee could actually take the series here. Game number 2. At 9:05 p.m. Eastern, San Diego Gulls hosting Colorado Eagles. Colorado Eagles could actually clean sweep here. And at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have San Jose Barracuda visiting Henderson Silver Knights again, and Henderson could actually clean sweep as well, taking a 2-0 lead. So then on Saturday, April 25th, if it does go to a game 3, so at 3 p.m. Eastern, Hershey Bears visiting the Bridgeport Islanders. Also at 7 p.m. Eastern, if this also goes to game number 3, Springfield Thunderbirds visiting the Charlotte Checkers. And then game number 2, this will happen. This will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. Bakersfield Condors visiting the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Then on Sunday, April 26th, we have 6 games on tap here. So at 3 p.m. Eastern, we have Milwaukee Admirals hosting visiting Manitoba Moose again. This depends if this goes to game 3. Also at 4 p.m. Eastern, if this does go to game 3, Rochester going back to Toronto. At 4 p.m. Eastern, this could be game number 2. Sacred Crunch visiting Cleveland Monsters again. At 6:05 p.m. Eastern, if this does go to game 3, I do have to clarify just to be safe. San Diego Gulls will visit Colorado Eagles again. At 6 p.m. Eastern, if this does go to game 3, San Jose Barracuda visiting the Henderson Silver Knights. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, if this also goes to game 3, Bakersfield Condors visiting the Coachella Valley Firebirds. On Monday, April 27th, we have no games on that day. And on Tuesday, April 28th, we're actually kicking off some from the Pacific. Oh, actually, not Pacific. Sorry, I think this might be the. I just gotta take a look here. Sorry, no, I was right. Sorry, Central. I couldn't remember what division. Don't mind me. Chicago Wolves visiting the Texas Stars, and that semifinal game, I'm actually gonna go with Chicago winning 3-2 as well. I think that's going all 5 games. So there's the all the updates, the cup dates for this week. I'm your host. I'll be back either Tuesday or Wednesday to talk about the games from the last few days. Have a good weekend, guys, and stay safe.